Police arrested former Prince Andrew on Thursday's 66th birthday after weeks of revelations over his friendship and dealings with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. In fact, Veera, this development, unprecedented in the modern age, follows years of scrutiny over Andrew's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, heightened in recent weeks by the release of millions of Justice Department files related to the late disgraced financier.
That's right. The arrest comes for after a remarkable fall from grace for the brother of King Charles III, now known only as Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, and will deal another blow to Britain's already beleaguered Vasudha royal family. Mountbatten-Windsor, who was stripped of his royal titles last year, has always denied any wrongdoing in connection to his affiliation with Jeffrey Epstein. The global fallout of the Epstein Files, remember, widened on Wednesday, with French authorities urging survivors to come forward and British police assessing private flights to and from London connected to the late financier.
That's right. In fact, we'll be joined by guests in just a bit. We're joined by Meghna Pant, is what we understand. Ms. Pant, help us understand, with Prince Andrew's arrest and fresh scrutiny from the Epstein Files, are we finally seeing some sense of legal accountability, or is this just going to be about reputational fallout?
I'm feeling, Vasudha, right now completely hollowed out, not shocked. I think the Epstein Files are so grotesque, but also sort of familiar, how power lurks, how it hides, how it protects. And only when the noise gets so deafening, that's the only time that we actually see power flinch. Now, you look at Prince Andrew's arrest, it's proof that rank and robes are not bulletproof. A prince can be cuffed, a title can be stripped, and that matters. But it matters less if the system around him is staying intact. So why did it take so long? Because what we are finding as a society, we love these tidy stories, right? We want a cartoon villain, a caricature like Amjad Khan or Amrish Puri. Then we want a spotless victim. And both of these are fantasies. The fact is that real crimes live in grey. Real victims are messy and real perpetrators are social butterflies. So what this says to at least women in India, don't be fooled into thinking that this is a Western sickness, because predatory behavior travels with privilege. It can be in London, New York, Delhi, or even a small town in India. The social mechanics are the same. There's access, there's networks, there's silence.
So there's a lesson for every country out there, Meghna. That's a very important point. Country. Yeah, Professor David Dunn, who's a political analyst and professor of international politics, also joins us now. Professor Dunn, what is your understanding of this? Does this mark a turning point in the Epstein episode, because it looks like powerful networks around Jeffrey Epstein are finally getting investigated? There have been a spate of resignations, even arrests.
Well, I think what it shows is that there's some accountability on this side of the Atlantic. However, what it does show is a contrast between the way in which things are coming to a reckoning in the UK compared to the United States. The very selective release of documents by the Department of Justice in Washington clearly pointed the attention of the world's media in the direction of the UK as a way of actually keeping the attention away from examining connections in America. So yes, there is an accounting, but it's a very partial accounting. There is no accounting for the 10 years of the documents that haven't been released before the present period, when Mr. Trump and Mr. Epstein were very close. And of course, there is no accounting for the fact that actually a number of documents haven't been released. We think 2 or 3 million haven't been released in the United States. So yes, there is a clear case here in the UK where nobody is above the law, in contrast, it seems, to America, where people are above the law and the Department of Justice is entirely political and partial.
Right. Meghna, what is your sense of, the ramifications of some of this on countries like India? What is the larger learning for us?
Well, I think the larger learning here is the rule of law. Actually, that what we have seen is no matter what your association with power, how well you feel yourself to be insulated from power, that there needs to be a reckoning, and the state. At every level of that state, and that's what's seen in the UK, from the King down to the Prince of Wales, down to the Prime Minister, are all saying that the law is the law and nobody is above the law. And no matter what your sense of privilege or wealth or relationship to power, the law should run its course. And I think that's what we saw demonstrated this morning with former Prince Andrew in handcuffs and now in custody, being investigated for alleged breaches of the law that he must answer to.
And Meghna, also the consequence of it, do you believe we've seen what's the worst of it, or do you believe that there could be much, much more that's to come still? Meghna.
Ms. Pant, if you can hear us, do you think that there's more to come in the Epstein episode?
I think there is, particularly in the United States, actually, that I think there's a lot of documents there that haven't been released, and therefore there is yet to be a proper accounting in terms of Epstein's relationships with prominent Americans.
Okay, Meghna, if you can hear us, do you think that there's more to come, there's more that we can expect, or do you think that the worst is over here?
No, I mean, of course, there's so much more to come. I think, first of all, remember, Epstein is not just one man, right? He's a network. There's financial, social, political. It's a global network where the investigators start pulling at networks like this. More names, more documents, more associations are going to surface over time. And remember one thing, it's an ongoing investigations, and documents are not going to emerge all at once. They're going to be larger investigations, and it'll sort of unfold in waves, right? There'll be sealed records, there'll be witness testimonies, there'll be civil lawsuits. There's also diplomatic communications here and financial trails. So each legal proceeding is going to release new fragments. So I think what we can expect is a sort of drip by drip revelation rather than one explosive moment. And I think the association list will continue to cause controversy. There are going to be so many hundreds of more names that will appear in files and flight logs and emails and photographs, and this will keep triggering debate. But remember one thing, appearing in documents does not equal guilt. I think that's what we need to really keep in mind. The next phase will likely be a lot of public confusion, I'm imagining, between who is mentioned and who is actually
Absolutely,
implicated.
Meghna, there's also the larger point of information that was claimed to have been shared. So, Veena, that's an important point that both our panelists have made, and it's clear that the Epstein shadow is widening across politics, across countries, in businesses, royalty, and the key question now is also if this wave of scrutiny delivers lasting accountability and becomes another cycle of high-profile damage control.